that channel and pay money for it the next day. So there is a translation difficulty in trying to figure out when something has been liked, has it been organically liked, or is it something which has been, uh, you know, motivated by some other external factors? And the second issue out there is it finally going to translate into something meaningful for you or not? Nevertheless, it's there and it goes on. And the only modification I would like to make to what Admiral Mohit Gupta said when he spoke about the CAA and he spoke about the Agniveer and so on and so forth, uh, it's not, it's, how should I put this? The fans can be flamed by social media, okay? It cannot start by itself. The actual fact, the evidence, the incident, the occurrence has to occur on ground. There have to be boots on ground who make it happen. You cannot make a riot happen just like that through social media. But you can fan the flames. You can bring it to the point of ignition, make it incendiary, and thereafter it can take place. That's what is possible over social media. So that's the broad idea. The second issue which I want to put across is that uh, agencies like the Defense Cyber Agency and others who are empowered to do certain things, they can only take certain actions. The way we will remain safe and protected is if there is a larger involvement of all the people of the country and the society. That's the only way it's going to happen. You cannot expect a set of perimeter guards to make sure that you will remain safe throughout. Somebody or the other will always sneak in. What you need to do is to get your hygiene in place. So that's something I would like to leave with you to think about. I'm a retired officer, and therefore what I say is non-attributable. Cyberspace in India, national cyber structure, defense cyber structure, and DCYI present status. Now, these are the broad heads under which I'm going to cover some things. And when the slides finish, then I will talk to you about some more things which may be interesting. Okay, we know that India's digital footprint is quite heavy. These figures show you that there is a fair amount of usage of the internet in our country. Also, you must understand that the physical boundaries of India are not where the cyber boundaries of India end, or for that matter, any nation. If my daughter's in Spain or in Portugal or in the US, and I'm talking to her, on, say, WhatsApp, then my boundaries are extending up till there. If we are on the NIC mail ID or the Gov mail ID of India and it's extended there, then the envelope is extending up to that place. That's one point. The second is, in India, unfortunately, and here I make the statement with absolute conviction, we don't yet have our own social media. Today, if you want to coordinate anything, you do it on WhatsApp. Why? For a country which is so large as ours, being an IT power of its own nature and self, why do we have to rely on somebody else's social media? And I'll tell you the implications. When Russia and Ukraine went to war, they call it a special military operation. It was war in February last year, almost to the date. And what happened was that the big tech in the Western countries, they shut down the tap of social media in that country. So YouTube was banned, Google was banned, Twitter was banned, and it's resurfaced through the dark web, and so on and so forth. So imagine if that were to happen with India. You couldn't have coordinated this event. Leave aside fight a war. So that's the state we are in, and therefore there is an absolute necessity for us to have indigenization in certain areas, and this will not happen by itself. It requires a set of people to think through the idea, to work on it. It requires hand-holding. And it cannot be overt hand-holding, because these are business interests. But these are issues that you could keep in mind. It will help us to understand the environment we're living in. Now, the cyberspace is critical for national security to ensure prosperity, societal well-being, and sustained development. And there are 9 pillars of digital India. This is just to say that there is no sector, none at all, where the influence of IT doesn't exist. So we look at IT in 3 manners. We look at operational technologies, we look at consumer technologies, and we look at information technology. I will take the last one first. Information technology is those enterprise IT systems which keep your daily governance and functioning going on smoothly. You pay taxes, you file your income tax return, somebody
is able to track it and make sure that it's working fine. If that were to be hacked into, nobody would know who owes how much to whom. The second one is the consumer technology. You got a smartwatch, you got a band. So most of us are wearing a Mi band or a Fitbit or a Strava device, and that kind of technology, helmet mounted stuff which you're putting on, all of that is the consumer technology. Uh, Please understand that when you're wearing these devices and even your smartphone, the most it's the greatest opportunity and the greatest threat mankind is seeing. Okay, your location, your contacts, every last bit of information is moving out through this device to people you have no idea about, and that's what fuels the digital economy. And if it can fuel the digital economy, then we fight the way we earn our bread. So it will also fuel the way we fight, right? That's when Admiral Gupta spoke about some of our northeastern brothers and sisters who felt threatened, because it spread like wildfire. The fastest finger first is really active on WhatsApp and such other media. And for those of them who use Telegram or Signal or Clubhouse or whatever it is. Okay. So therefore, in India, this is important. The last one is operational technology, something which through which you got cyber physical systems, where you're able to carry out a physical movement somewhere by actuating a signal here. So let's say you got a conveyor belt in the airport. It's operating through this. You look at your car. There's so much in that. It'll tell you your parking brake is on. Your seat belt is not fastened. Everything is possible for you to figure out. And all of these are operational technologies. So when you put a satellite in space, or you send a UAV out, all of these have got a component of operational technology operating there. Now, cybersecurity in India has gone through a journey, and some of the milestones which I'm listing here are that which is available in open domain. In 2000, we had the IT Act. That is the first time we had an understanding, and I think Mr. Vijay Varghese spoke about crime. But what I would like you to understand is that when you're talking about cyberspace, there are two distinct threads running there. One is about security, and the other is about crime. Okay, the internal law enforcing authorities are principally looking at the crime angle, and there are certain agencies, however, like the armed forces and some others, who are looking at the security aspect. And there are principally many areas where these overlap, and disambiguating between these and to understand who will pursue which thread is one of the principal areas where we need to focus on and work on. So in 2004, we had the CERT-In, which is created. In 2008, we had amendments to the IT Act, and there is something more which needs to come. We had the National Cybersecurity Framework, which was put in place in 2013. Now, this is an important thing because it set the baseline for a lot of things which would be subsequently following up. It's there in a top secret document, so I will not speak to you about that. Then we had the National Cybersecurity Coordinator. We had General Pant sitting here, fortunately, with us. His office was created under the National Security Advisor and the Prime Minister's office. We had the NCCC, the Cyber Coordination Center under the MeitY. In 2017, we also had the Cyber Swachhata Kendra, which is something which is public focused, which is towards the hygiene aspect. So if you haven't looked at this earlier, do have a look. Then we had the I4C, which was put in place. In 2021, we had the IT Intermediary Guidelines and Media Ethics Code rules. Now this is something on which a lot of social media channels and applications took umbrage, and they tried to discuss the matter. For instance, Twitter was one of these which had differences of opinion with the government of India, and the matter is still under resolution. And in 22/23, we are hoping that the National Cybersecurity Strategy is rolled out. It was worked out in 2020, but it's taking time, and I think there are internal issues which need to be resolved and ironed out. The Digital Personal Data Protection Bill was also floated. It's gone through multiple iterations, and from 2017 onwards, it's been on the anvil, but it's still yet to find the light of day. And then we're hoping that there will be an updated IT/Cybersecurity Act which comes up. Apart from this, we look at research and development, we look at international cooperation, we look at standardization, testing, and quality certification. And apart from all of this, what we definitely need to look at is the human resource. Because the human resource which is going to work on this, how many people are hands-on capable who know what they need to do? There are people, you need to find them, and you need to have a pipeline created so that these numbers of people can be produced to what is required. Uh, as far as the landscape is concerned, India is the second most targeted country in the world. No doubt about it. Our economy is growing, our population is high. And if they will not target India, which is an open society where you can reach and gain access for doing nothing at all, then what else will they target? So, if China is relatively safer, it's because they have sequestered themselves from the internet. So, they have only a kind of firewalled access to their country, both inwards and outwards. That comes with at a cost. And therefore, the people of that country, whether they realize it or not, they don't enjoy the kind of freedom we do. But with freedom comes responsibility. And we have a job here in front of us to make sure that in the manner in which we are targeted doesn't affect us. We know what happened in Ames a couple of months back. So if we don't put our processes in place, then our day-to-day functioning can grind to a halt. That's important for us to know. These are numbers. I'll leave it to you to absorb them. Now, the threat spectrum actually varies across 7 steps as per this particular model is concerned. So, that starting from individual hackers to nation-state attacks. Now, you will seldom hear about countries which are participating. You know, if you look at which are the top countries in cyber, if I ask you how many, who would name USA as one of them, top cyber country? Would you name, say, China, Israel? Would you name France, UK? If I look at the way APTs, that is Advanced Persistent Threat Groups, are described, the literature which I have access to shows me that there are principally 4 countries which are involved in APT activity. It will show me China, it will show me Russia, it will show me North Korea, it will show me Iran. Is that it? There are only 4 countries who are so stupid that their names are coming out in the open, and the rest of them are so smart that there is nothing about them which is known at all. So my name doesn't exist, and therefore I'm so good. No, it's not that. So this is also part of digital marketing, and this is part of cognitive domain conditioning of the mind. And therefore you clearly see what you are asked to see. Okay. Now, the armed forces had 3 traditional domains: the sea, land, air, and then space. Now, the fact is that starting back in late 90s, we had Sebrowski and some others who talked about net-centric warfare. And net-centric warfare is an interesting concept, and it catered for C4 ISR, for information which is flowing from left and right, and all of this. Now, understand that there's a huge threat surface for you. If you're